Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa has been chairing that extended Cabinet Lekgotla at the Sefako Makgatho Presidential Guesthouse in Pretoria, bringing together members of Cabinet as they aim to align government's priorities for the year. SABC News senior reporter Samkele Maseko is tracking all of this from the politics desk. Samkele joining us now live. Samkele, let's talk about those very priorities that would be under discussion. What exactly are they going into a new calendar year?
Indeed, Temegila, they were extensively discussing the state of the South African economy today. The first presentation was done by the Minister of Finance, Kodongwa, and is deliberating and expanding on South Africa's fiscal capacity at this point in time, where the African economy is at, government debt, how it's doing, particularly when it comes to South Africa's inflation rates, and how the economy as a whole is performing, as you've heard Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, expanding. Particularly the Minister of Finance's presentation around South Africa's fiscal capacity was very important, particularly if you look at some of the infrastructure projects President Ramaphosa plans to roll out within this particular financial year of the administration, noting that the Minister of Finance will also table a budget speech 2 weeks after the State of the Nation address, particularly around South Africa's reforms, economic reforms that are being put in order to improve South Africa's economic outlook and to improve the performance of the rand. As you can see, the rand is performing at around 16 rands per dollar at this point in time, is looking at how South African economy is strengthening and looking at particularly departments such as Department of Trade and Industry and Competition, its role in attracting investments into the country. We do know that tomorrow the Minister of Police, alongside the Police Commissioner, will be presenting on issues around peace and stability within the country, noting that there is no economy that will grow in a country that is ravaged by corruption and criminality.
And things have changed slightly since the 2024 election and the introduction of a government of national unity in terms of consensus and how quickly that is reached in cabinet, or including in conversations with the president. The GNU has disagreed on multiple issues, including expropriation, where the DA took exception. There were also issues to do with geopolitics. When you look at South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, what do we expect will be the sticking points going into this year?
Interestingly, one of the cabinet ministers belongs to another political formation, not that is dominant in the government of national unity, which is the ANC. They were saying that it's time to put aside ideological differences and do what works for the country. And that just tells you that many of these political parties that were outside of the government and who are inside the government now, their particular perspective and point of view, such as green energy, that they may have had a dogged approach on them and not wanting to compromise on that particular posture, their perspectives are changing as they are seeing the bureaucratic processes and the technicalities of government that are being explained to them by those who've been there for a while, but also by the technocrats who are inside these particular departments. So the points that we've seen over the years, particularly in the last year, where it took about 3 months for the budget to be passed, or the fiscal framework of the budget to be passed, which was in 3 parts. We won't see that this time around, as there is more synergy within the government of national unity. You've got more cordiality and more coherence within these partners within the government of national unity, and we are seeing a lot more meetings happening between the two dominant parties, the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. There are more frequent meetings between Helen Zille, who is the federal chairperson of the Democratic Alliance, and the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, whom have already started the backdoor negotiations of some of the sticking points within portfolio committees in Parliament, and also within the National Assembly as a whole, and within a policy perspective within the executive of what issues must be passed. And those differences that were there, I just see Minister Dean McPherson with his Deputy Minister Sihlezi Galala, those differences at Public Works are seemingly not there as well. You are seeing a well-oiled machine within Public Works and rolling out infrastructure within the country. The only issue is, will South Africa's fiscal framework and South Africa's fiscal capabilities be able to afford South Africa's built infrastructure projects that it wants to embark on within this financial year that is coming?
Consensus, collegiality, great for the people in the room at this cabinet meeting, but ultimately what people want to see is more money in their pockets, services that are delivered on time, a reliable and dependable government, and that is the test, is it not? Is the GNU delivering on better governance?
That is the test for any government. If it can't deliver on basic services, I'm at home right now. I don't have electricity. I don't have water. I don't have electricity for the whole day. No, I've not had electricity from 2 o'clock. I've not had water from when we woke up this morning at 6 o'clock. So that is bad service delivery. From a consumer point of view, where I am seated, can you think of many other South Africans who have not had electricity for years on end, where their transformers have been burnt out in areas such as Soweto, Mogale City, Tsakani, Meadowlands, and other areas within the townships of Gauteng and other parts of the country. So the issue of service delivery is going to be very critical, particularly on the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Going into a local election, you go to areas such as Randburg, there were issues of service delivery where Johannesburg entities such as Pick It Up were failing to do their fiducial duties, which is the collection of refuse within those particular areas. Even where I stay, due to the strike that workers have embarked on at Pick It Up, there was no refuse being collected where I stay as well. And those are service delivery issues. I see a number of potholes are being patched in and around the province of Gauteng and Johannesburg municipality. But if you go to municipalities in the northwest, the AG has said they are the worst performing municipalities. Issues of job creation. It's no use having a growing economy that is stagnant on job creation. A growing economy is jobless. That's a problem.
Samkele Maseko, thank you very much for that SABC News politics reporter bringing us up to date as the President and members of Cabinet meet this week.